how do you define native advertising, and how is it taking hold here in the UK?
Well, first off, of course, it does have its roots in advertorial within press and magazines, and that's a quite understandable relationship. The change of reference, the way that this is now recasting the relationship between the advertiser, its audience and publishers, works in a completely different way across digital media. So native advertising can actually be in-stream on mobile, for example. It could be a link like Outbrain, which actually is a very intelligent contextual piece which will syndicate the content that you've made on your own site. Of course, this can work over tablets, it can work on video, it can work on mobile. And the reason why advertisers are so excited about it is because they're able to express their brand purpose and their positioning in new ways with the lens away from the brand. And I kind of stress that because if you try to do advertorial and it's all about the brand, the brand, the brand, the brand, then people just aren't going to want to read it or view it. So clever brands like Unilever's Dove, who have the Sketches campaign, that did have the lens away from Dove, Real Beauty, and all about drawing faces, which is very clever. If you take P&G's Old Spice, your man can smell like this man, that again takes the lens away from the brand and onto an extremely amusing script that put Old Spice in a completely new space. So we're finding at the Internet Advertising Bureau, where we do 60 events a year, really anything that has branded content and native written on it will have advertisers flocking to find out more.
Why do people watch native, and how do publishers get this content consumed?
Well, first of all, publishers are going to want to have agreements through agencies and advertisers for that space within their publication or to be used. I mean, Forbes, for example, have deep relationships with sponsors in sectors where they have exclusivity. So an IT advertiser could practically get into the CMS of Forbes, where articles are written. They're kind of in the editorial, but disclosure is absolutely there because it's brought to you by. So that's one way. YouTube has been out there forever, and so that's a place where you could just broadcast yourself, and that's pretty route one for video. Another way would be through social video, where you have the Unrulies of this world, and of course Videology is great for doing programmatic video content across platforms. But essentially you have to think as an advertiser, what does my brand stand for? So therefore, what's my purpose? Am I funny? Am I helpful? And how can I provide content that's going to be consumed? And that's why it's brilliant, because it moves advertisers away from, I'm just going to interrupt you for 30 seconds, into a space where they're going to be useful or helpful or entertaining or friendly.
How are publishers finding success in editorial video? What seems to be working, and what might be next?
Well, I think one of the best places to look for that would be publishers, for example, Guardian, Telegraph, Financial Times, who didn't have video for quite some time, but then looked at having their digital hub with a video room where the journalist is not only going to be writing stuff for the newspaper, writing material for the website, but actually doing stuff to camera to provide short form video, which is easily accessible by consumers who love video because it's a very simple way of taking on news, and then monetizing that through pre-rolls. And the good thing about a pre-roll on short form content is it doesn't take very long. You're bound to see it, so it's pretty effective in terms of a branding vehicle, and then the content afterwards is only 2 or 3 minutes long as well, so it's not like a whole ad break on television. For 2013, the ad market was worth £18 billion, of which online and mobile was 6.3 billion. So it's 35% of total ad spend, which I think is a record around the world. The interesting thing here is mobile has gone past £1 billion, but we're measuring advertisers and how ready they are to advertise on mobile and have their customers alight on mobile smartphones. The fact is that only 64% of the top 100 advertisers, who all spend a lot, 64% of them are optimized. So their homepage is optimized, and some of them have responsive sites that will go across different screen sizes. But by definition, that means that more than a third of the top 100 advertisers just aren't optimized for it. So they can't play as well. And when their customers get there, the dwell time's not very long, they don't transact. So I think we'll find over the rest of this year, there's a big catch-up going on. There's only one good thing out of that, actually, that there's a way that you can kind of go again. So if you missed online and you had your competitors stealing your market share because they were doing it better in your category, then by doing mobile really well, at a mobile first, they are very likely to be hitting digital pretty well across the board. So I think there's an opportunity for the laggards to get in front. Well, looking at the advertising models, I mean, the fact is display is still growing at 22% year on year, and mobile display is actually growing at 180% year on year. So it's growing, and advertisers are seeing, you know, great results through it. The fact is, of course, there's display and display. You know, there's premium display using what we call rising stars premium formats. There's video, which is, you know, high quality stuff, but you know, there's also run of sight that goes along, and in fact there are a lot of direct response advertisers who are very happy to use that, or even just take the data from it so that they can retarget customers who go to similar sites. So everything has its use, but I think the watchword here is viewability, quality viewed content. And now, of course, that we have the technology to know whether the consumer has scrolled down and seen the ad or stayed for, you know, 5 minutes on a page, then that advertising becomes more valuable. And in the US and the UK, the IAB are endorsing viewability metrics for dwell time and exposure. And that's going to be a process that we go through over the year, but you know, pretty important. And brand advertisers should be looking to that and probably putting more money in, because they can measure their results so much better.